Hi, this is Liz with Senior Tech Connect. Welcome to our How to Text video. To start, I want to give an example of my mother-in-law. She was in her mid-80s when she learned how to text. Before that time, she had a cell phone, she had a smartphone, but used it pretty much just to call when she was out and about, but hadn't learned how to text, didn't think she wanted to learn how to text, wasn't really aware of all the things that she was missing out on with not being able to receive text, let alone be a part of a group conversation. We got her to upgrade her smartphone so that she had an iPhone that was similar to my husband's and her other son's. Then sat her down, went through what to do to send a text. And she practiced with us, with just us, for about a week. And so we would get interesting messages as she was learning to hit the buttons and to send texts. And now she's in so many different group conversations. She's getting pictures and videos and all kinds of lovely things. The improvement in connections with family, with friends, it has opened up so much for her to be better connected with family and friends. She was in her mid-80s. She did it. You can do this. So if you've got some fear attached to the fact that you are not knowing how to text, how to participate in that part of technology, so very grateful that you are here and starting to watch this video. I want you to get comfortable and do some really good breathing, maybe sip some water, keep yourself engaged, and we're going to cover the different benefits that you're going to have. So in this, you're going to be able to join into group and family conversations. Even if you just read them and you don't answer a lot at first, once you get comfortable, you'll be joining in and being able to add your thoughts and ideas into those group and family conversations. You'll be able to receive and share pictures and videos with loved ones. You can let them know that you're thinking about them any time of day. You don't have to wait. If they're school age, you don't have to wait till they're out of school. You can send them a text and then they'll be able to read it when they get out of school. You can share ideas with people any time of day or night. When you get those ideas, you can send them to that person. You don't have to wait until it's a good time to make that call. It's a great way to improve your conversations. Now, before we get started, a few reminders. Thank you so much for all that you are doing to make a difference in our world. We are so glad that you are here and for all that you're doing to connect with other people and that you are brave enough to want to learn to text. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here at Senior Tech Connect, our motto is you're never too old to learn something new or relearn something forgotten. And to help with that, we have a free note sheet available for this video over at seniortechconnect.net. There's also a link to it in the description below this video. So you can click on that, get the note sheet. In this note sheet specifically, we have lots of places for you to write down the specifics of your cell phone, of your smartphone, so that you can remember what things look like, you can remember where they are on your phone. There's so many different kinds of phones, and so this note sheet gives you places and prompts to write down, okay, where does this happen? What does this look like with your specific phone? And then lastly, we really, really appreciate your spending some time with us today watching this video and for all that you'll do to share us with your family and friends. Now, a couple of other things that you're going to need before we start this video. During our videos, we often have practice sessions where we pause the video, we have you pause the video, and then you practice. And so in order to be able to do the practices for this video, there's some things you're going to need to have. You're going to need your smartphone. It's going to need to be on and at your home page. You're also going to want to know your phone's brand and model. So like mine is a Samsung and my husband's is an iPhone. You're going to want to know that because during the video, we're going to show you examples from different things, and that will help you know which side of the video to pay more attention to if you know what kind of phone you have. And in terms of the model, that will help you if you're doing some troubleshooting after the video. If there's things that you're like, I can't find this on my phone at all, then you'll know the brand and the model, and then you'll be able to Google or use a browser search engine, and you'll be able to say, this is my phone and this is the kind of phone, so the model and the brand. How do I do this? Or where do I find this? And amazingly, there will be answers online for you. So you'll want to know that. And of course, there's a space on the note sheet for you to write that down so that you have that as long as you have that phone. And then of course you can go and print off a new note sheet when and if you get a new smartphone. So that's kind of fun. You are also going to want to have at least one cell phone number of someone that you love and trust, someone that you're going to be practicing with. Whether that's a family member, a friend, you want to have their cell phone number. Now, if it's already a contact in your cell phone, you are good to go. It's okay if you don't. If you don't have any contacts in your cell phone, that's okay. We have another video that we show you how to put contacts into your cell phone. So that will be another video for another time. Right now, we're going to focus on you learning how to text. If you are wanting to grab those things right now, so there's a couple ways you can do this. If you have a lot of fear attached to texting, whether or not you've admitted that fear to yourself or not, but if you've got a lot of icky feelings inside about learning to text, or the nope, not going to do it, I can't, any of those negative things that adults tend to tell themselves with things they don't know. If you've got those, then it may be a good idea for you to watch through the whole video, see that it's not too bad, and then watch it again and actually do the practices. If that's what you need, then you would just make sure that before you watch it the second time, you got these things. But if you're feeling okay, then you're probably going to want to just pause the video to go grab those things, smartphone and the cell phone number. So to pause the video, in case you don't know how to do that, you can click anywhere on the video. And if you're watching it, depending on where you're watching it, it should pause it for you. If not, then bottom left of the YouTube screen, there is a pause button, which is the two vertical lines next to each other. You click on that to pause. And as soon as you click on that and it is paused, then the icon itself changes to a triangle. That is then the play. So it's the pause play or the play pause button that you'll click on to pause this video, go get those things, and then come back. All right, so go ahead and pause this if you need to. All right, so the first thing we're going to have you do is find the texting or messaging app that comes with your phone. So you're going to be looking at your phone, and at any time during this video, if you want to pause, you just pause. You can pause and you can take the time to do whatever it is. You don't have to wait for the practices, but we will be practicing each of these things. You're going to find your app. Now, most of the companies that build the apps that people use for texting, that build the cell phones, they will make the texting app so that they all kind of look similar. They look kind of like a text bubble, like a chat bubble, rounded edges and the little triangle-y things sticking down the bottom. These are images of ones that I grabbed from several different kinds of phones. You'll usually find it at the bottom of your home screen. Some phones will call that space the navigation bar of your phone, but there's that little space at the bottom, and usually the text app is there. Now, if you had somebody help you set up your phone and they were like, oh, Mom doesn't ever text, so I'm not going to waste that space. I'm going to put something else there that she will use. So if it's not there at the bottom of your screen, you can scroll through, swipe up, whatever it is that you do with your phone to find all the apps and look for the one that is your texting app. That's the first thing you're going to do, is you're going to find the texting app on your phone. And again, if somebody's helped you set it up, it may not be down at the bottom. If nobody's touched it, it will be at the bottom. All right, when you have new messages arrive, you're going to see on the icon for your app, you're going to see a little number in a circle. Throughout this video, we're going to show you examples of different types of phones. Like I said, I have an Android phone. My brand is Samsung. I have an Android. My husband has an iPhone. So we're able to quickly, pretty easily grab screenshots for all the different things that we wanted to show you in this video. Just know that the Android is always going to be on the left, probably because I'm the one that's creating videos, so mine's first, and the iPhone is on the right. Your phone may be different even if you've got a similar brand. Even if you have an iPhone, yours might be maybe a little slightly different color depending on the settings in your phone. There's lots of different things that can affect it, but generally speaking, your phone should be similar enough that you can try to do what we're doing. Every smartphone is going to have an app that will let you text, because texting is the most popular thing done with smartphones. People don't use their phone app as much as they use their texting app. So there will be a texting app on your phone. So throughout this video, you'll see the Android or non-iPhone on the left, and you'll see the iPhone on the right. So when you see those little numbers, that's letting you know that new text messages have arrived since the last time you were in that app. Your number may be not there. If it's not there at all, then there's nothing that's come in since the last time you were in the app. But if there is, then it lets you know that that's how many have come in. So to open up the app and see the messages that you've received, you're just going to tap your finger on that icon, and that opens up the app. So it's similar to anything else on your smartphone. To open up that app, you tap on it. So you're going to tap on that and it will open up. Once you open it up, yours may be empty. Like I said, if your friends and family know that you don't text, then they may not have included you in any text, but you may have some in there from different companies or whatever. But this is generally speaking what you'll see. Now in these screenshots, I didn't think that my family and friends wanted you to know their names or their phone numbers, so I have blurred out a lot. So let me help you see what information is where. It will show you either a date or a time with that message. If it's been sent today, then it'll say a time. If it was sent yesterday, you'll see in the iPhone example, it shows yesterday. And on mine, it just shows a bunch of different dates. So mine were several days ago because I had scrolled down to show you that part of the phone. The next thing that you'll see on each little message is the little round circle to the left. And it's at the left on both phones. Notice that, and it will show you either a picture, which means that you have set up the contact in your phone, and that contact, you put a picture with it. And that is, we'll show you how to do that in the smartphone contacts video. That would be where the picture will show up in your text app. There could also be an avatar if they have set that up with their particular sign in, like with Google, and they've chosen a specific avatar to go with their login. That might be there. Or an initial. So with these, it'll show you their first initial, or some will do a first and last initial. Just depends on the phone and the app that you're using. The other thing that you might see, or that you will see, is either a name or a phone number to let you know who sent you this text. So if it's a name, that means that that person is set up as a contact in your phone. The message came in from that phone number, and the phone said, oh, that's the phone number for Susie Smith. It would then say Susie Smith on there, or it will say the phone number, which means it didn't find that phone number in your contacts, so it's just going to put the phone number there of the phone that sent you the message. The last part is you'll see a portion of the message. With the portion of the message, it just depends. Sometimes if it's a really short message, like in the example on the right with the iPhone, it's just a quick little blah, blah, blah. That was the whole message. So you wouldn't even have to open it to see it, but others, it'll give you the first couple of lines of the message. You're actually going to have to tap into that message to see the whole message. And we'll work on that after. Now it's time for our first practice. The way that the practices are going to work in the video is I'm going to read through the whole thing and kind of talk you through it. And then I want you to pause the video and actually do the practice. You're going to start learning how to do the things that we're talking about. Like I said, you are welcome to watch it through all the way first, gain some confidence, gain some courage, and then watch it through again and actually practice. If that's what you're doing, that's fine. You don't need to pause the video. But I'm going to walk you through everything, and then you're going to go ahead and do this. And we want to keep this in simple steps because that way it will hopefully build some confidence so that you'll continue to try. To pause the video like we talked about before, in the bottom left of the video, you'll see that pause play button. You'll click the pause. And then, of course, when you're done and you want to join the video again, you want it started again, you'll hit the play. Don't do that yet. I'll tell you when. So the first thing you're going to do in the practice is you are going to find your phone's text app. Now, all of these practices are in detail on the note sheet for this video, so you can follow along there and take notes in the note sheet, the practice section of it. You can also just, when you pause it, this will stay on your screen so you can be practicing that way as well. So you're going to find your phone's text app. Do you have any messages waiting for you? How do you know that? If there's a number and a circle on that app's icon. You're going to tap on the icon to open up your phone's text app. And I want you just to get familiar with what you're seeing. If it's empty, don't worry, it won't be for long. That will just make that part really easy for you. Get used to what you're seeing, what information is there. If you have received messages in the past, chances are you've received some messages from the company that owns your phone when you set up your phone. If nobody has taken those out, chances are those are still there. But get familiar with what you're seeing so that you start being able to look at it and go, oh yeah, that's what that is. Tap on the app, get familiar with what you're seeing, and then go ahead and unpause the video and we'll go to the next step. So your first step is finding that app and tapping on it. All right, so go ahead and pause this video and we'll see you on the other side. Yay! Welcome back, welcome back. Hopefully you were able to find the app and you were able to tap on it to open up and see any text conversations that are in there. If you were not able to find it, that's where a Google search, and when I say Google search, whatever browser search you use will work. So you're going to search online. Hopefully that will help you to find that. All right, so next, when you want to actually open up one of the messages that is in your conversation list, you're going to tap on that message to open up that conversation. If you want to start a new conversation, which if you've never been texting before is probably where you're going to be, you're going to start some text conversations. We're going to have you start one today. You're going to click on, in the Android, it's kind of that little chat bubble with a plus sign for add new, right? Anytime you see the little plus sign in computer programs, it means you're starting something new. You're going to do a new whatever. So this is the chat bubble plus the plus sign is saying start a new conversation. With the iPhone, it is to start a new one is in the upper right. It's a piece of paper with like a pen. So you're starting a new text, you're starting a new electronic letter, not an email, it's text. You're starting a new text. So if you feel comfortable with emails, maybe it might help to think of a text as just a kind of a really shortened version of an email that you would send from your phone. That's the image that you'll tap on with an iPhone. So you're going to start a new conversation, and that's what we're going to go through. The first thing you're going to need to do with a new conversation is let the phone know who's going to receive it. So there's two ways to do that. You're going to tap into the recipient or the to. Android, it says recipient or something like that. Depends on your phone and the app that it is, but it will say something like recipient or to. You're telling the phone who the message is going to be sent to. And so you're going to tap into that field and your keyboard should show up and you'll just be able to put in the numbers. On some of them it's the keyboard numbers, and on some of them when you tap it shows you the keyboard for numbers only, your 10 key. Whatever way your phone shows it to you, make a note of that on your note sheet and you can tap in those numbers. You don't need to put in the 1, even if it's long distance, you don't need to put in the 1, and you don't need to put in the dashes. Just do the 10 numbers of the phone number. Then it will, know who it's sending it to. The other way is if you have that person as a contact in your phone already, then you can tap in the name, start tapping in the name. And usually if you start tapping in even just one letter, but usually 2 or 3 letters, any contact on your phone that matches what you're starting to tap in will show up, and then you can just tap on that person and then it will put that person's name into the message. If you already have a message going with them from before, maybe they tried to teach you to text before and you just weren't ready to handle that, there might be a message in your phone already with that person, in which case that would show up as a choice as well. So you're going to either tap in the cell phone number or tap in the name of the contact, And if that person's in your phone, you would know that that person's in your phone already because you would have been calling them on your phone. The two ways to do it, you're either going to tap in the cell phone number or you're going to tap in the name of the contact. Now, the examples that we have are conversations that we've already had going, so you can ignore it is one actually that we did for this video with little things about the video, about the process as we were chatting back and forth, so we would have examples for this video. What you're going to do to actually start typing the message is you're going to tap into the enter message field or the text message field, and if your keyboard wasn't up before, by tapping into that field, the keyboard will appear. Again, different phones do different things. So if you're like, there's no keyboard, tap into that field to start your message and then the keyboard should appear. The keyboard and other options will appear below that field. If your phone does different things, then let us know in the comments below and in our Facebook group, because then we can get those other examples added to our note sheet so it's more complete for the ones that we haven't worked with yet. So you're going to tap into that enter message and you're going to see your keyboard and other options appear. We're going to cover those other options. Similar to how your computer works, with texting, normal grammar rules don't apply. A lot of people will use short abbreviations. They will use acronyms. It's a different language. So we do have a common texting abbreviations and acronyms note sheet that you can print off or have close to you, so that if you are texting with somebody who likes to use a lot of those shortened abbreviations, you can figure out what they are. And if there's ones that aren't yet on that sheet that you are texting people, please let us know. Again, either comments below this video or in our Facebook group, and we'll get those added to that note sheet. So thank you for helping that to grow. But it's very similar to a keyboard that you would see on your computer, but obviously there's not a lot of space because cell phones are small, and so they've had to do a few things that are different, and we'll show you those in just a second. But your normal keyboard that pops up, you are going to tap the little arrow that goes up, just like the little arrow that's on your shift key on your computer. You're going to tap that to capitalize. Please note, if you're doing something in all caps, it's like yelling. Strong emphasis. Don't use all caps unless you are really wanting to strongly emphasize what you are saying. One of the things with texting that you want to be aware of is with texting, you don't get that verbal context. You don't get the tone of voice. You don't get any of those kind of things that you get when you're speaking to somebody on the phone or in person. You'll try your best to use the characters and things that are available to you to help convey things. So just know that caps is shouting, and for some people that can be rude, unless it's something that you really are wanting to strongly emphasize, in which case they could still think it's rude, but there you go. So you're going to tap on that shift arrow to capitalize. You are going to tap on the back arrow to backspace. So it's similar to the backspace on your computer. You're going to tap into your message wherever it is that you were like, oh, oops, didn't mean to do that. And you're going to tap and you can hit your backspace key, which is the little arrow with the X in it, similar to what it might look like on your computer keyboard. And you'll backspace, and that will take away a letter or character one thing at a time. The next or last thing that we're going to cover in this screen is you can either tap return or the return image. Depending on your phone, one of those two should be there, and that would get you to start a new line. So similar to how it is in a word processing program on your computer. So those are some things you can do there. Other things that you'll want to be aware of. You're going to tap type, use your finger and tap on the different letters, and use your backspace when you need to. You're going to tap type your message, and always, and I say this always, I don't always, and I find that when I don't always, then I have to go back and send another text that corrects whatever it was that I missed. So always, especially at the beginning, but always, are you getting the idea? Always read through your text before you click send. Your app will sometimes do what they call autocorrect, and so as you're typing, if it thinks, oh, she misspelled that, let me fix that for her, And it'll put in words. And sometimes it's, oh, she's starting to type this word, so I'm sure that's the word she's saying, so I'm going to put that in there for her. There will be words when you read through your texts. Often there will be words as you read through. If you haven't been paying attention as you've been tap typing, then there will be words there that you did not put in there yourself. Your app did, because they thought it was being, the app people thought they were being helpful. If you were to just click send because you think you're done, please always read through your text, make whatever corrections need to happen before you click send. And then once you've read through it and you're happy and you're like, oh, this is what I want to say, when you're done, you're going to tap the send icon. In most phones, it's going to look either like kind of like an arrow, a paper airplane going away, something along those lines. So again, in your note sheet, make a note of what it looks like in yours. I have seen one where it was actually like a button that said send at the bottom of the area. So just look around, see what you think it is, find what yours is on your phone. And now for our next practice. This practice I think deserves drum rolls. By the end of this practice, you will have sent your first text. So I want you to get in a comfortable position, maybe sip some water, get some hydration in your brain. We're going to go through it, then I'm going to have you pause it and actually do the stuff. You are going to tap on the new message icon in your phone, and you're going to enter in a recipient for your text. So that's either going to be a cell phone number or a contact's name. So you're going to say who this text is going to. Again, you want to send this to somebody who you love and trust, because this might be a scary thing to you. It might be absolutely exuberant for them to receive it, but it could be a scary thing for you. So you want to make sure that it's somebody that you love and trust. You're going to enter in their cell phone number or their contact name. Then you're going to do a simple sentence. This is just going to be way easy. Remember, you don't need any grammar. You don't need capitals. You don't need anything. So we want you to text in. So you're going to tap into that text message or inner message field. You're going to tap hi and the name of the person. You don't need to put the commas. You don't need to do any of that. It's hi so-and-so, I'm learning how to text. That's it. Very simple. If making the shift to put the capital for the I is difficult, then it's okay to put a little I. It's okay. Like I said, grammar rules don't apply, and especially when you're learning. You're going to tap type on that keyboard. You're going to say hi so-and-so, I'm learning how to text. You do not need to include the quotation marks around it. And you're going to look at it and you're going to say, oh, yep, I typed what I meant to type, or oops, I need to fix this. So do whatever you need to do until it says something like, hi, so-and-so, I'm learning to text. And then you're going to tap the send icon. I want you to keep this conversation open for the next practice. When you're ready, I want you to pause this video, and then you're going to go through, send your first text, and then unpause the video and come back. Yay! You did it! 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 Yay! I hope that you are feeling confident and excited and oh my gosh, you just sent your first text. That is so amazing. Let's go to learn a few other things that we can do. As you start a text conversation, sometimes it will show you the specific time of each little part of the message. Other software will just show you the time it started at the top. And then once it becomes like, more than today, like older than today, then it will show you like the day and the time. And then as you're starting to have conversations, your words of that conversation, your part's going to be on the right. It's going to be right justified and in a color. And then the others, so that could be one person or many people, depending on your conversation. If it's just a single conversation between you and one other person, or if it's a group text, the other people that are in that text, their stuff is going to be left justified. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at is something called predictive text. You may have noticed already, as you started to tap type in your message that you just sent, what they call predictive text starts to show up in that center section right below where you're tap typing. These are common things that would go next depending on what you are typing, what you're entering in there. It learns from you. So, quick story. One of my friends, I text her and often I will say, "Hola, chica linda," because we met in some Spanish classes. And so, "Hola, chica linda," when I first started to use my phone, I had to type in all of those letters, and the phone didn't like everything except for the linda, because linda is spelled the same as Linda. It didn't like hola and it didn't like chica, but as it got to know me better and the words that I use, now I type in hola, H-O-L, and hola comes up, and chica comes up next. I don't even have to type in the C for chica, and then linda comes up right after that. So I can just tap into that center what it's suggesting or what it's predicting would be the next thing I would say. So as it gets to know you and your style of writing, pay attention to that predictive text, because that can save you some of the tap typing that you may not have to do. However, it's kind of tied to that autocorrect that we talked about a second ago. And so just kind of pay attention to what's being suggested there. And if I'm typing something and it's spelled differently, my sister's name, for example, when I was first putting that in, her name is spelled differently. So as I started to type it in the center, it put what it thought it should be. And then on my phone, it has a little check mark over in the left space for me to accept what I typed. And so just kind of get to know how the typing and predictions and autocorrect work on your phone in the app that's specific to your phone. You're going to play with that. Just kind of play with it and figure it out. And as the more that you send, the more accurate it will be able to predict what you might say next. So that's kind of fun. Get to know that and take advantage of it, because again, it saves you some of the tapping. Just get familiar with typing the different things, and your app on your phone will get to know how you speak, and your predictive text will get better and better the more text that you send. And then to access other things. So if you look at these keyboards, there's no punctuation marks. There's no, on the iPhone, there's no numbers. You're going to tap these keys to access your additional character keyboards. We're going to go into those so that you can add more than just simple text, simple letters to your text. So like I said, you're going to tap there to access the additional keyboards. The left side on the Android, I hit that little key and then it opens up one of two screens. And so it'll say, this is screen 1 of 2, and the next one will say 2 of 2. And that gives me the most commonly used, according to their programmers, it gives me the most commonly used punctuation marks that I might want to use. On the iPhone side, you click the 1, 2, 3, and so then the top row is your numbers. And then the iPhone's programmers, what they think are the most commonly used punctuation marks. And then the second screen that's within them. Now notice on both of them, right below the key that I'm hitting to access those different ones, I have an ABC key. The ABC key will take me back to my original keyboard. So just get familiar with your phone. If you have a different programmer than either of these two programming sets, yours might have different characters in different places. So just get familiar with what it looks like on your phone. All right, next is emojis. So in texts, they have emojis. They call them emojis, and they started out as smiley faces, and then they include lots of other little pictures. There's over 100 of them. There's lots and lots and lots. So to access those, you are going to click on the emoji icon, which is a smiley face. In both softwares, you'll notice that it is a smiley face, and then it brings you up to the emojis chart. And with the emojis chart, the first thing that it usually brings you up to is the most recently used or most frequently used. And so if you've never used them before, then that would be the frequently used that the programmers think are the most frequently used. You'll notice that as you start to use them, that list becomes populated with the ones that you personally use a lot, or use most often so that they're all in one place, easy for you to find. Now, please note, with emojis, they may not mean the same thing to everybody who uses that same emoji. Just be aware, and you may want to clarify with those that you're texting a lot what the images mean to them compared with what they might mean to you. It's especially important, I have found, in foods and produce. So if you're curious, and I'm not going to go into that here, but if you're curious, you can go ahead and search online, what does the whatever emoji mean? And it will enlighten you in all kinds of interesting ways that we're not going to go into here. But you want to be aware and be sure that the emojis that you're using with people are ones that mean the same thing to them as it means to you, so you're not saying things that you don't mean to say. You'll notice that either right above or right below the emoji chart, there is this little group of icons that are not colored. They're just outlines, and that's the different groupings of emojis. So the first one is the clock, and that's going to show you your most recently or your most frequently used. The next one is a smiley face, and that's going to show you all the different smiley face related emojis. There's animals, there's foods, there's sports, there's flags, there's different symbols. So you can click on any of these, and you'll then go to that group of emojis. So as you're getting to know the emojis, they've divided them into those categories. In the Android, it tends to be on top of the chart, and in the iPhone, it's on the bottom of the chart. Something to be aware. And again, a reminder, please remember that many emojis, especially foods and produce, tend to have multiple meanings. So you just want to make sure that you are aware of that. And with you and your friends, if you guys agree that a certain emoji means a certain thing, then that's what that means, because you are communicating with them with those little pictures. Just be aware if you're texting somebody new that it might mean something different to them. Okay, here we go. The last practice for this video is going to be doing texting, but with more than just letters. The last text you sent basically said, "Hi, I'm learning how to text." So in this one, in that same conversation that you started, they may have sent back something to you by now. They may not have. And that's one of the benefits, remember, of texting, is that people can have that conversation when it's a good time for them to have that conversation. So you get more of a present kind of a feeling because people are actually paying attention to that conversation, and they're texting you and they're thinking about texting you instead of like on the phone. If they've got 20 other things going on at the same time, they may not be paying as much attention as you're hoping they are. With a text, you're going to be in that same conversation, and you're going to access your additional keyboards and find the question mark. You're going to tap into the text field, and you're going to type, without the quotation marks, "Can I practice with you?" question mark. Texts don't always have a lot of verbal or audio clues with them, so some punctuation marks are really important to use. Find where your question mark is. If you need to, make a note of that in your note sheet. Then I want you to tap into that emojis chart and tap on at least one smiley emoji to add to this particular conversation. Choose it based on what you know about the person that you're texting and what they know about how you might be feeling about practicing with them. Choose the emoji that would match the conversation that you are having with that person, and tap at least one smiley emoji into it. So your "Can I practice with you?" question mark, and then an emoji. Read through it, make sure it's saying what you want to say, and then tap the send icon. So go ahead and pause this video, complete this practice, and we'll see you on the other side. Yay! You did it! And now it is time to celebrate your new skill. Celebrate it. Celebrate it. Do the happy dance. I'm hoping that you feel a sense of accomplishment, that if there was a lot of fear attached to this, that you are starting to step away from that fear and think inside your head that, yeah, you can do this. And so many things that are fabulous await you as you practice this skill. We would encourage you to practice sending simple texts with your family and friends every day until it becomes an automatic thing that you don't have to think about how to do it. Practice it every day. Another thing would be to share this with a friend that doesn't text. So if you know that there are friends or family members that you know that don't text, share your experience, your ability to have learned how to do it, share that with them and become their helper, their encourager, their cheerleader to help them so that they can then learn how to do it, and you can both be in on so many more fabulous ways to communicate and connect with other people. You can also do the preferred protocol. These days, like we said, the phone is the least used app on your phone, on your smartphone. Most people will then text if they want to call somebody. They'll text first and say, hey, is now a good time to chat? And in the past, you haven't been able to do that. You've just called. You may find that people haven't answered, in which case then you'd have to leave a message. Or you have found that people have answered but quickly said, hey, this isn't a good time. Can we talk later? Now you can do what others do, and you can text first and say, hey, is now a good time for a call? Or when is a good time in the next couple of days for us to chat on the phone? So that you can set that up so that the call is a good time for both of you, and it can hopefully then be a more positive experience for both of you. All right, so a few things that we wanted to touch on in case you're in circumstances where maybe tap typing is too difficult for you. If you have really got strong arthritis in your hands, or you've got shakes so that your fingers are shaking and that's a difficult thing, then there's a few things that we would like you to be aware of that might help. One, my mom used to use a stylus pen when she would tap texts on her phone. So she had a stylus pen, and they're the size of like a pencil, a pen, that size, and they have a rubber tip instead of something else. So it's similar to how your finger would feel on a screen. There's those. And we've got recommendations for some really inexpensive ones over on our website if you're interested in those. You also, depending on the software that you're using, your text app might have a microphone with speech to text function in it. Look for that in yours. It's usually a microphone icon, and when you click on that, it will sometimes connect to some other software, and sometimes it'll just put your cursor there, and as you speak, it will start to type what you're saying. You may find you need to adjust your speech a little, maybe a little slower, maybe a little more enunciated. Try this out. If this is something that would be helpful to you, if tap typing is too difficult, then please experiment with your app's speech-to-text functions if it's got those. And then lastly, if tap typing is too difficult, or if you just think that this would be kind of fun to try and to play with, then you can try the app's recorded message feature. Some apps have this, some don't, so get to know if your phone has this feature. In the Android type phones, if it's there, it will look like the audio stamp. So, you know, when you're testing your microphone and it shows you how soft or loud the different sounds are, that's what the icon looks like on the Android. With the iPhone, you're going to click the plus that's to the left of the text message field. You're going to click the plus, and when you do that, you're going to look for the audio, which has that same kind of look to it in terms of the icon. You're going to touch that. When you click on the audio for iPhone, or you touch and hold that icon in the Android, then that's what actually starts recording. So then it will start recording everything that you say. And so you can wish them happy birthday, you can sing happy birthday to you, whatever you want to do for that message, you can do that. And then to stop it, with the Android, you're just going to lift your finger up. With the iPhone, you're going to click the stop button, that square within a circle. That's the icon for stop. You would tap that and then it would stop. And then it will show you how long the recording is. And you can hit the little play, which is that triangle, right? The triangle and the circle, or just the triangle. That's the play. So you could play it to hear it, to see, oh, is that what I really want to send, or do I want to re-record it? If you listen to it and you're like, yeah, no, that's not what I wanted to say, you can click the X that's to the left, and that would get rid of that recording. Or you can click send, which is the same send icon that you've used for your messages. So you can click that and then it goes to them, and then they can listen to it on their side if their phone has that function in their texting app. Those are some things that we would like you to try. And then lastly, when you're done with this particular conversation and you want to get back to the list of text conversations, then you're going to click on that arrow that points to the left that's at the top of your screen. You're going to click on your back arrow, and that will take you back to the list of text conversations in your phone. Yay! Thank you so very much for spending some of your time today with us and learning how to text. You can watch this video as many times as you want. And again, we encourage you to practice this every day until it becomes automatic. And then share this with your friends that do not text yet. Thank you again so much for all that you're doing to make our world a better place to be. And believe me, learning to text, it's going to improve the connections that you have with your loved ones, and you will be making their world a better place to be. And then thank you again for sharing us with your friends and family, especially anybody that came to your mind while watching this that would be a good option for helping them learn how to text. You now have the resource. You can help them learn how to text. You can see all of our videos and note sheets that we have created so far. We also have a list of those that we're working on and a place for you to submit ideas. If there's specific things that you want to learn how to do, let us know what they are. We can put together a video for that so that you can learn. And that's over on our website, seniortechconnect.net. And then please, to help our channel, we would ask that you would like this video. So there's the like button underneath this video. If you are logged into YouTube, you'll see the like icon below the video. Go ahead and click on that. Let us know that you liked the video. It also lets YouTube know so that they will suggest the video to people who are similar to you. You can add a comment or a question. So again, that's another place that's great for letting us know that your phone does something different for texting or for recording or messaging. And also if you have suggestions for other videos that you would like us to make. And then also subscribing to our channel will help you to find our videos easier in the future, and it will also let YouTube know that you like our content. It's free to do all of those things, doesn't cost you anything. If you weren't able to like, comment, or subscribe, you didn't see those things as possibilities, that means you weren't logged into YouTube while you were watching this video, which is fine. You can still watch the videos, but if you want to interact more with the videos themselves or with the creators of the videos, then I suggest that you watch our how to create a YouTube account video so that you can learn how to watch YouTube while logged into YouTube, because it opens up a lot more features for you. And we also have a YouTube Basics watching videos that talks more about the functions that you can gain access to that way. So thanks again for all that you're doing to make our world a better place, for sharing us, for learning how to text. It's going to change your world, I tell you. It is just fabulous. And for all that you're doing to help others to be better connected with their loved ones, our community, and with our world. Thank you so much, and have a great day.